Then Speaker of the House of Assembly, Alex Boyd Knight, has declared 2 seats of parliamentary representatives for Marigot and Salisbury vacant. Announcement comes on the heels of a decision by Hector John and Edison James to miss 3 consecutive meetings of Parliament following the December 18, 2009 general elections. The 3 elected members of the United Workers' Party were protesting alleged bribery and fraud during the last poll, but MP for Roseau Central, Norris Prevost, took his oath of office at the 3rd sitting. House of Assembly regulations stipulate that parliamentarians who miss 3 consecutive sessions of the House of Assembly lose their seats.
Now I'm reading from the standing orders of the House of Assembly, and this is what the Speaker is supposed to use to guide her in the administration of the Parliament. And I think I've been trying my best to do so as assiduously as I possibly can. Standing Order 15 has 2 parts. 15.1 reads, "Any member who is unable to attend a meeting of the House to which he has been summoned shall acquaint the clerk as early as possible of his inability to do so." And then Standing Order 15.2 says that if, without leave or order of the Speaker previously obtained, any member is absent from 3 consecutive meetings of the House to which he has been separately summoned during the same session, such member shall vacate his seat. Let us now relate what I have just read to you with the current situation. Elections were held on the 18th of December. After the persons who won the various seats were determined, the Chief Elections Officer sent the writ to us letting us know who won their seat and who will be taking up their places in the House. At that stage, those persons were members of Parliament. But I would equate that to somebody doing a driving test and passing, but can't go on the road until you pay your license and do certain things. And so, this part of paying your license and so on is taking the oath of office.
Speaker of the House of Assembly, Alex Boyd Knight, she said while the members sent letters requesting to be absent from Parliament, it was impossible for her to interfere with the content of the letters sent by members of the opposition.
The Speaker is given full reign and power to vet questions before they appear on the order paper. And Standing Order 23.2 in particular says, if the Speaker is of the opinion that any question of which a member has given notice to the clerk infringes the provisions of any standing order or is in any way an abuse of the right of questioning, he may direct A, that the member concerned be informed that the question is out of order, or B, the question be entered on the order paper with such alterations as he may direct, or, in the case of a question which a member has sought to ask without notice, that it be so asked with such alterations as he may direct. So the Speaker has the power to vet questions and make amendments if the Speaker so chooses, given to the Speaker by the standing orders. Now there are, I think, 20 different points that the Speaker has to have regard, as well as the person asking the question, on the proper way to ask questions, on what can be included in questions, and so on. But Standing Order 15 gives me no power to alter letters, to turn a letter of information into a request or for leave to miss Parliament. Yet they want me to do that. So there it is. Where I have no powers, they want to give me, and where I have powers, they don't want me to use it. How can you please people? You have to do what you have to do, and this is what I've been doing. And so, because of the fact that I have no discretionary powers in the matter, I simply have to do what the standing orders tell me to do. I have had no choice but to inform the 2 gentlemen that their seat is now vacant, and all parties concerned have been so informed.
And that was Speaker of the House of Assembly, Alex Boyd Knight. The Speaker's decision is likely to lead to by-elections for the Marigot and Salisbury seats. Meantime, leader of the UWP, Ron Green, says the decision by the Speaker is in keeping with a dream by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit to have a one-party state.
Well, my first initial reaction is that this action by the Speaker is in keeping with the Daly's declaration by Roosevelt Skerrit, where he declared openly to the public of Dominica that he wants a one-party dictatorship in the country, that he's going to hold 3, he said in fact 4 successive quick parliaments with the sole objective of removing the members of parliament from the opposition side. That's what he declared in Daly's. So I would say that this action is in keeping with this daily declaration. But our intention is to prevent this one-party dictatorship that Skerrit dreams about. We treasure our democracy, and we think it should be strengthened, not further corrupted. So I think this action is a sordid move in a long series of moves initiated by Rufus Skerrit leading up to the general elections on the 18th of December. Speaker knows why we're absent from the Parliament. Letters have gone to her, and I'm not aware that she has devoted 1 ounce of energy towards finding a solution, towards solving this impasse. In fact, it would appear that she's happy to carry out the bidding of Roosevelt Skerrit in regard to the quick parliaments without any legislative agenda to get the opposition out of Parliament. The central issue for us has been the question of the fraudulent 18th of December elections. And we cannot pretend that it doesn't exist. We cannot mask or hide or wish away the irregularities and the gross bribery of the 18th of December. And as a nation, we must deal with it. We must address it. And until we so address it, we're not going anywhere. I don't believe by-elections will address it.
Are you satisfied that you brought your message across to the public and, of course, to the region and perhaps the world?
Well, we're continuing to do so. We have done what we have done so far, and I think there's more to do, and we'll continue to do what we can do to bring the message across and to strengthen and to ensure that we have democracy in Dominica.
And that was leader of the United Workers' Party, Ron Green, speaking to Carry FM's Shamin Beek. And James says is concerned about the haste in which the matter was dealt with. He has accused the Speaker of being on a personal battle with the United Workers' Party.
The Speaker must show which rule that requires members to request a leave. Which rule? And she spent a lot of time, it seems, drawing your attention, the media's attention, to the rules. In fact, she gave us a reason for not granting us leave. The fact that we did not request leave. There's no rule, not standing order 15, 1 or 2, or any other rule which requires a member to request leave. And what is interesting, she spent some time referring the listeners to communication from Honorable Norris Prevost some years ago, where he requested leave. But interestingly, you will note from the response she gave, which she read, that she never gave Mr. Prevost leave. She never gave him leave, okay? In her cunning way of trying to upstage us, she never gave him leave. You must go back to that letter. Now, she seems to be very confused. The Speaker tells us that when someone is elected, at election time he becomes a member, he or she becomes a member. When that person takes the oath, that person becomes a parliamentarian. That is a lot of, let me just put it mildly, misleading and confusing herself. Look through the standing orders, all of them, from 1 to 87. And I suspect if you find the word parliamentarian mentioned among those rules, once you will not find it on more occasions. We continue to be members. So the Speaker is confusing herself. But she seems to be on a mission. Alex Boyd Knight seems to be on a mission to do her battle with the opposition. You will recall when in the matter of her altering our question some years ago and the matter of her getting us out of the Parliament, she moved her own motion. So much in a hurry was she to get us out of the Parliament. So she is on a mission and her own personal battle with the opposition.
When questioned whether he would participate in a by-election, James had this to say.
Right now, we are dealing with a situation where we are standing up to ensure that the democratic rights of the people of Marigot and Salisbury, and indeed the people throughout the country, are preserved, restored, and preserved. And we will do everything that is required to ensure that democracy remains with the people of this country. It would be so much more productive for this country, for the government, perhaps aided and abetted by Alex Boyd Knight, to concentrate on the development of the people of this country, to put things in place to facilitate people being able to pay their bills and to have a decent meal and to be able to clothe their children and themselves and house their children and themselves and send the children to school, instead of having the country involved in this constant